Welcome to SIBN Sports, keeping you on top of your team's news, stats, and wins. This is the radio sports review for NFL Week 8, NBA Week 1. I'm Matthew Ruggs here with
Clara Solette.
Glad that you could join us, folks. We've got so much to talk about in so many different directions. As we've said, it is NFL Week 8, and it is the start of the NBA season. What an exciting season it's been a start to so far. So many trades, so many upsets, so many stuff going in so many directions. What do you
Oh my God, you can say that again. Trades,
yes, I did.
Moves, ups, downs, all the way around. All kind of stuff going on in sports right now. You know, we were talking about Week 8 NFL. There's so many games that we could talk about, but some of the ones that we just wanted to kind of highlight just a little bit, because there's so many issues right now with quarterbacks.
Yes.
Is that, you know, they're trying to figure out what to do. Andy Reid is in the hot seat in Philadelphia.
Right.
We know they lost to Atlanta, which puts Atlanta now at 7-0. Go Falcons!
Dirty Birds! And if you know how to do the Dirty Bird dance, we'd like to see a video of that on our fan page at SIBNsports.fanpage. But in the meantime,
and you know, it's so exciting to see that the Falcons are doing so well. We're excited to see that Matt Ryan has turned his game completely around. He's playing great football. He's got that eye of the tiger, man, going on right now with him, don't you think?
Well, and at the end of last season, they had a big upset up there in New York. They only scored 2 points in that postseason game. And when the start of the offseason workouts came up, he's the first one in the locker room. First one in the weight room, now coming up to say he wants to step things up and he wants to become a better leader, and that's exactly what the quarterback should be doing.
Yeah, and I think that's when you talk about the quarterback being a leader that he is right now, and then you look at Philadelphia and you look at the Jets and what they're going through right now. I just want to ask you, because we had a conversation about the Jets, we had a conversation about Sanchez, we also had a conversation about Tebow. And they're talking right now about possibly it may be time to trade him. And I'm just wondering, what do you think? Because I mean, if the coach does not believe that he is the person that can take the place of Sanchez, if there's an issue, which we know there is an issue with Sanchez, he is not playing good football right now. So if there is an issue with him, and you have a second string that you don't believe in, what happens?
Well, it is honestly up to Rex Ryan and his staff to seriously analyze what is their best possible, and who's their best asset. Yeah. What can they do to better help themselves as of right now? You look at the depth of the New York Jets. And then you see their receivers. Are they better with or without Tebow?
Right.
Do they catch better? Are they able to make the trick plays? Remember, as we said, we've discussed that they have the Rhino offense.
Yeah.
Is it actually working? Okay, so that is not working. Can they use Tebow as a running back? Can they use him to block? Which, if you've seen that they tried to do with the punt, with the punt scheme, and it didn't quite work out.
It didn't work out like it should have.
So where else does he fit?
Right.
What is their best chance? Where does he fit on this team? They certainly don't want to put him as a defensive player. That just won't happen.
Right. So all of you fans that were so excited about Tebow, you were excited about, hey, you know, Tebow is doing such a great job. We're excited. He's going over here now. He's going to have an opportunity. It's not happening for him. We want to know what your thoughts are on Tebow. Should they trade him? Should they continue to go with Sanchez and just give up on Tebow completely? Is he not the guy to carry that team when Sanchez is not doing well? We want to hear from you, and you know where to find us on SIBN Sports, and that's on our fan page on Facebook. And the other team that we want to talk about, the quarterback, is also in hot water, and that's Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. Mike Vick is in hot water. He did have an okay game. He didn't fumble. He didn't throw an interception. But, I mean, my goodness. I mean, he just can't catch a break. Do you look at the quarterback, or do you look at the coach at this point? The fans are screaming, fire Andy Reid, fire Andy Reid. What do you do?
Well, honestly, we can see, we've said it, we said it last week, that it's going to take a while for Mike Vick to get back into his game at the starting position.
Well, how long? I mean, we're in week 8, you know?
Yeah. How long will it take? It's honestly uncertain.
Yeah.
Now, he did not have any interceptions in the last game, which is good for him.
Yes.
However, his receivers weren't catching too well. Didn't really see a lot of the open routes as he should.
Yeah.
But as it does take a while, the Philadelphia fans just have to be patient if they want to keep Vic as a quarterback.
Right. And that's the question at this point.
Andy Reid has been at this for a very long time.
Right.
And each time he's proven that he is a good coach.
Yeah.
They've had their upsets. They've had a lot of things go their way and not go their way. But I don't think that Andy Reid should be taken away at this moment. It's going to have to be a change in the Philadelphia roster, which we'll get back into later on, folks. Be sure to not touch that dial. Stay with us right here at SIB in Sports. Welcome back to SIB in Sports, folks. Keeping you on top of your teams in news, stats, and wins right here at the Sports Desk. We were last highlighting these teams in the NFL that are having quarterback situations.
Yeah.
Now we want to look at these teams that looked promising at the start of the season, but have now slowly started to crumble.
Yes.
And
Arizona being one of them.
Arizona is one of them. They started out the season 4-0. What is happening to them as of right now?
Yes.
Where are they going? They've dropped 4 games straight.
Yes.
What can they do to pick themselves up?
Is there an opportunity for them to pick their, I guess when you have a team that starts off so well, one of the things you're looking at is they plan so well, you don't really look at the faults at that point. So now I think it's coming to the point where they're now looking and saying, we got a problem. We need to zero in on what's going on with the team and see what we can do, because they're definitely slipping fast.
Well, Ken Wisenhunt, he's going to have to look at he's going to have to look, is it the offense or is it the defense?
Right.
Just what's happening, You still got Larry Fitzgerald, one of the best receivers in the NFL. Running backs. Still Alfonso Smith. They have the weapons on the offense.
Right.
Is it the defense? Could it be the defense?
Right.
What's their case? Then let's look at San Diego.
My goodness.
The offense, the defense is doing fine.
Right.
The offense is a complete mess.
Right.
Phillip Rivers. What is going on up there?
Right.
Or what is going on over there? There's just no telling as to is he not passing or his passes too long, or his passes too short? Mm-hmm. What's the case there?
I guess he's just gotten off his game. I mean, and again, another assessment needs to take place at this point. I mean, you can't continue going in the same direction when you know you're having an issue. And I think that's what's going on with several of these teams that have begun to slip down into the loss.
Well, North Turner's going to have to take a look at that.
Yes.
And in the meantime, what about, we've already discussed Philadelphia, what about New Orleans? Can they come back from being 2-5? There's, as stated earlier, there's no rule in the books that says a team cannot enter the postseason starting off 0-4, as they did.
Right.
Then they came back 1-4. Now they are 2-5 with that loss to Denver the other night.
Yeah.
They still, I don't believe, have found out which side of the ball it's on.
Right.
That's going to have to be up to them. I think they're going to have to take a good look at themselves. They do not look like a Saints team. Hey, to each their own.
And and there's so much assessment that could take place. I mean, the coach just came back 2 weeks ago from being suspended. And then you have Drew Brees, who had to pretty much bring himself back up. I mean, he didn't have any encouragement coming from anywhere. And he's the leader of the team, so he has to encourage his guys. Come on, guys, we can do this, pushing everybody. And I have to say, I think Drew Brees has done a great job of rallying the troops, getting everybody back together as one. And he's playing good football. I mean, it doesn't look like it because they're not winning, but when you look at his stats, he's playing decent football.
Well, then let's take a look at Carolina. They've lost 5 games by 6 points or less. And folks, it's the same old lullaby over and over again. We know Cam Newton is getting tired of it. Ron Rivera is getting tired of it. Everybody on that team is getting tired of it. Who's to blame, honestly? Or should they start pointing fingers and blaming each other?
Well, somebody does need to point fingers, and somebody does need to get the blame here. Because when you're up and you're winning the game and you have an opportunity to win, and then you just flat out fall to pieces. I mean, you look at the quarters and how they played, and Carolina was, in the first quarter, they scored 3. Second quarter, 10. Third quarter, 6. Then the fourth quarter, they only scored 3 points. Okay? Chicago in the first quarter scored 7 points. In the second, 0. In the third, 0. And in the fourth quarter, they scored 16 points. You got a problem.
There is a problem there.
Yes. They should have won that game. So, there's a lot to look at. There's a lot to talk about. We want you to stay here with us on SIBN Sports Live Radio. Thank you.
Don't touch that dial. We're back here at SIBN Sports Live Radio Review. Check this out. Before we go into the NBA, we want to talk about the Washington Redskins. We want to know your take. Is it RG3 or is it team?
Right. And that's a good question. That's a very good question.
And folks, don't leave this up to us. Please let us know what you think on our fan page at facebook.com/SIBNsports.fanpage. Please let us know your thoughts and your comments. Yeah. But as for the Washington Redskins, Mike Shanahan's going to have to take a look. The receivers for the Redskins, who do we have right here? We have Brandon Banks, Josh Morgan, even Santana Moss. Yeah. These guys, they're not catching.
Yeah.
And what I don't quite understand is they're very good passes that these guys are getting, but they're dropping a lot of passes lately. And is it something going on to where they're misreading their routes? Or are they just not paying attention?
Right.
And they tried a trick play the other night to where RG3 is going to have to go up the sideline and catch the ball. That didn't quite work out either.
No.
Missed plays. Can they use him as a receiver? Probably shouldn't, because they were talking about how he had his first pro concussion, and now then they started getting into how can you protect the quarterback.
And you can't play your quarterback too much. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you got to keep him in his rhythm. You have to keep him in his game. If you continue to get him too much out of his rhythm and his flow, you're just going to create more problems for yourself. Well, he can't be the catcher, the receiver, the rusher, right? The passer. He can't do it all.
Well, they've talked about this a long time for other quarterbacks. Like we stated earlier, they've suggested using Tebow as a running back. What would happen if they move Vic to running back? Now they've talked about what happens if they move RG3 to receiver. You know, this is not high school,
right?
Where a lot, or even college, where a lot of this will work. Denard Robinson, who played for the Michigan Wolverines, was a very good running back / quarterback, or however the case may be. Right. But you know, these rules are different from the NFL. The NFL, you get popped, you will know it for the rest of your career.
Right. You don't want to lose your quarterback because you put him in a different position and he got injured. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. So they're going to have to get it together and watch it, find out what their problems are. They definitely have a great quarterback. We know that. His stats are great. He's doing really well. But, you know, you got to find out where your issues are, where your holes are, and you got to fill in the gaps.
Well, beyond the NFL, let's finally get into the NBA that I have been waiting for a very long time.
All the fans out there that love basketball as much as we do, I just want to ask you one question. Did you see the ring that LeBron James got?
219 diamonds. 219 diamonds.
Did you see the ring?
219 diamonds.
Did you see the ring?
And now it's being auctioned for $3,200.
$3,200. Well, it's what they call it, a replica.
Oh, yes,
that they made of the ring, and you can purchase the ring for $3,200 if you go online. I don't know where, but it is somewhere. I'm sure if you look it up, you can find it. Mm-hmm. But that ring is so ridiculous. Now, they were actually late sizing him up for his ring because he was so busy. He was traveling and had this going on, that going on, so he didn't have a chance to size up his ring until late. But they finally got him sized up so that he could get his ring size 13 and a half. Lord have mercy, that's a big finger. But you know what? It was exciting to see the guys get their rings. It was exciting to see the big three, as we call them. Bosh, you got D-Wade, and you got LeBron sitting there. LeBron has the biggest smile on his face. He made a good decision in his career. He won his first championship, and it's just exciting to know that that's just the beginning for him.
There's nothing like that first.
Yes.
And so we got more that we got to talk about. Plenty of upsets and games coming up in the NBA. Stay right here, folks, with us at SIBN Sports, keeping you on top of your teams and news, stats, and wins. Don't touch that dial.